I think I may have an interesting video to share with you guys. I keep this street light, or this traffic light, in the corner of my workshop. It's typically on all the time. Towards the end of last year, it started to malfunction. The circuit board that drives it stopped working properly, so we're going to change the circuit board out and make the street light work again. When you get a street light, or you buy a street light, or however you obtain your street lights, they don't typically come with a circuit board, because that circuit board is usually located somewhere else on the property that's driving a bunch of street lights, and those particular circuit boards or computer systems are actually relatively complicated for safety reasons. The system has a lot of checkpoints to make sure the lights are working properly, and the system also verifies that things are not malfunctioning, so you don't get like two green lights at an intersection causing an accident. But for home use, this really isn't important, because these are typically just kind of decorative. And luckily for us, there are a bunch of companies that make circuit boards that drive these lights so that you and I can enjoy them. Now, for the folks who have never seen one of these in person, they are really big, as you can see by my hand. These things are huge. They don't look that big when they're hanging up in the intersection, but when you have one on your workbench, they're quite large. This particular one is made by Eagle, and the way it works is they hinge open so that you can service them. So they have these wing nuts that flip down, and then we'll open this up and take a look inside. And if you take a look on the inside, well, there really isn't that much to these. And in my case, when I originally got the street light, it was designed to operate on regular mains voltage. And if I remember right, there was a terminal board mounted somewhere on the bottom of one of these that all the wires terminated to. Now, this street light is an Eagle brand, and I think it's actually kind of old. It is an aluminum body. Today, a lot of these are composite. They're more of a plastic, but this still has the aluminum body. The lights have been switched over to LED. And these lights just operate on a regular 120 volts. So there's really nothing fancy here to make the lights come on and off other than the control board. There are lots of companies that make control boards to make your street lights work. And the simplest ones that I can find just typically have the terminal strips on the side and some programming functions, because, well, different places, their street lights operate differently and people want different things to act differently. I want mine to operate just like a standard street light. You can get kind of fancy. You can find boards that do more. So if your street light had more than 3 lights, well, this board will do up to 6, but this board will also control another option, and that is a walk, don't walk sign, which I do have, and I do run that in tandem with this light. So we're going to use a 6-position board for that. Someday I'll have to pull out the walk and don't walk sign and show you how that operates, but right now we're just going to hook up the street light to this board and make it function again. Now, the first thing we need to do is mount the control board inside our light. Most of these circuit boards come with these little standoffs, and they have sticky pads. As you can see, this one's been used in the past on another light, but we're just going to take a hot glue gun, put glue on all 4 corners, and press it down in there. I like to use the hot glue gun because it's easy to switch the board out if you want to change it. Hopefully you never have to, but in my case, the previous board went bad. The top of the street light is up here. In fact, that's where the hanger is, and outside in real life, they run the wires through the top of the street light down through the center, and that's how the lights are wired in. As you can see, there's also usually a knockout on the other end, so if you want to bring power in from the bottom, you could, but we're going to bring ours in from the top, and because I'm cheap, I'm just going to cut up an extension cord, and I'm going to use that for my power wire. And wiring these boards up is extremely simple. And now this is a little more complicated, as I said earlier, because it is a 6 output board. It has 6 channels. Each light bulb is considered a channel. And for this particular light, we're only going to use 3 of the channels. Now, I do have these channels configured for that walk, no walk sign, but that walk, no walk sign is not hooked up right now. We're just going to drive the light using this particular control board. This control board has a speed adjustment right here. It's a little pot that you can put a screwdriver in and speed up the sequence or slow the sequence down. And it's also programmable, meaning there are all kinds of sequences that are pre-programmed inside the circuit board that you can select. And the one we have right now is going to work the street light as it should. The outputs are broken down into channels. Each channel is set up as a line and a common, so you would connect each light bulb to each set of terminals. In this particular case, this is the red, this is the yellow, and this is the green light bulb. Power goes into the board right here. We are running the hot wire coming from that extension cord through a switch that is located over here. You can access it on the outside of the casing of this light. And other than that, it's that simple. Now, I have taken my ground and I have grounded off the casing of this light. This light is made of metal, it's aluminum. And the only other thing that you're going to want to do, and I will do this as soon as I find it, is you want to use some wire loom or some type of protection to keep these wires from chafing as they go through each compartment. I'll use some heavy duty wire loom, I just have to find it, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to leave it as is so you can see how this light functions. So in my case, I have this toggle switch on the outside of the light, so I can flip it up to the on position. That will turn on the light. And as I said, in person, these lights are really huge. They're a lot bigger in person than what they appear to be when they're hanging from an intersection. So we have a green light, we just went to yellow, and now we're going to sit on red, just like an actual working street light here in the US. Then it should sit on red for a little bit of time, and then it should go back to green. And there it's green. So as I said, you can slow it down or speed it up or change the outputs however you would like. And pretty much all these circuit boards work and operate the same way. And they're pretty inexpensive. They range from about $10 all the way up to $50 if you want a really good one. So anyhow, I just thought it would be kind of a cool little video to show you how people are configuring these lights. And you know, they're kind of cool to have in your shop and enjoy. Really, the hardest part is just finding a good deal on one. I bought this one on Marketplace and it was in pretty poor shape. And I just did a very, very fast restoration on it. That being said, I think it turned out okay. And I really enjoy it. If you like these types of videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. Take a look at some of my other videos. At the very least, you might be entertained.